we managed to get through most of Lake Liurnia. Liurnia of the Lakes, rather. And effectively, we're working our way up the ravine-veiled village, which would normally drop us onto the Atlas Plateau and would be your first one of two methods, whether getting the Grand Lift of Dectus or the ruin-strewn precipice would be the two methods to get up here. However, we did take a little bit of a shortcut due to a teleporter in the Royal Academy, so we got to preview it. We'll explore it more thoroughly later on. We're not really that strong enough to yet. And we see here, this place is patrolled by a number of these short guys. Now here's the, yeah, as I say, that's the cute trick. He's there, but the bat's the one that you're actually... Gotta love when you can ambush an ambush. Though make no mistake, there's plenty of bats around here. Yep. And they're busy munching. Oh, I didn't rest. Okay. Well, we'll just go at it. Yep. I know there's one behind me. Yep. But you gotta pick one. You either go for the direct attack or you go for one behind you. It's a pincer attack, so it doesn't matter which you go for. You just have to go for one. And more golden runes. This place is actually not a fairly horrible spot to pick up the pocket runes. And note that even though it's a mine, even though it's not officially a mine, there is still ways to pick things up. Though someone is mining, or at least trying to clear the path. Nice. Alright. And somber smithing stone, which this was another way we could drop down and bypass, like, the ambush. But it's not a spectacularly dangerous one, so yeah, it is a help. And here we go. Should be good now. Give me half a sec, folks. Alright. Thank you. There we go. Just making sure all the tech's up and running. There we go. Now this is where things get interesting, because there are a lot of ambushes here, and more importantly, there's one of those singing bats. With plenty of backup. Yeah. Now, the interesting bit is the singing. The singing having the same song tends to depict the thought that these bats, or at least these bats, human-headed ones, are at least another form of demi-human. Alright. Yeah. Yep. Nope. Got you. Take them apart, pick it apart one by one. Just pick a target, and when they leave themselves vulnerable, that's when you strike. Yeah. A four-way ambush is not necessarily a bad thing. Yeah. Now, this is going to be a little different. These bats actually fight somewhat intelligently. Like you see, they'll scatter poison and then try to... Yeah, that's a grab. Just be patient, folks. Don't get overly aggressive. Most of the time, what you get hurt by most is your own impatience. Nope, got me. Damn it. Ow. Nope. Oh, that was... Man, I can survive. Okay. Well, if I had anything less than max health, though, I wouldn't survive it. Again, but just look how this thing fights really intelligently. Ow. Alright. Gonna switch out the knives. I don't have time. Okay. Ow. Nope. Yep. There we go. Nope. Okay. Okay. There we go. Yeah. Pulling back from that. Okay. Nice. Got it. It stuck a little too low, a little too long. Yeah, we're gonna have to go back. But at the very least, we managed to get this far. You can hear another bat singing up there. But yeah. Ah, okay, there's a you can just jump up a back way. Since we're heading back, it's just a good way to know. Try and raid everything you can the first time through, so look for little backtracking ways. Like, for example, up here, like we saw the one low path, so we can skip a lot of the... So we'll be able to skip some of the ambush over here. More materials for upgrades. Always thankful for those. Let's see. Well, it looks like that's about it. Now, it's worth noting the bat wings. Take a look at the pattern in the fur of their wings on the other side. Notice that it greatly resembles the eye of the frenzy flame. Which would likely mean these were, at some point, followers, I would believe. One second. Excuse me. Because my truest belief is that the bats were the bats are actually the malformed followers of the Eye of Frenzy Flame. And that, more than likely, this is just a simple transformation due to the effects of that power. Either that or it's a form of camouflage that's used to basically scare off others. Might be another way to do it. Let's see. Well, I definitely want to keep Gravitas. No, I never use it. You know what? Wild Strikes. And let's do Cold and... Let's try it out. So, Cold and Bleed buildup. We'll freeze you if we can't bleed you. Yeah, we'll try it. But even now, Magic Lip Blade will remain one of our best spells. Excuse me. Oh, sorry about that. Couldn't reach the mute button in time. Mostly, it's got decent power, and it just basically the payoff is you need to wait a second. So... and you get a lot of shots for it. Alright. Ah, you're up there. Alright. Now, the frost buildup and the bleed buildup won't really matter. These things don't have enough HP for it to but it's simply a matter of... for certain enemies, it will definitely come in handy. Alright. And this will now be a lot easier now that we have spells, now that we have some FP left. And we could summon our buddy, but I don't think he'll be necessary here. Yep. Oh, wow. Just got in the way of that shot. But yeah, you can summon some ashes here, but actually, let's show off one of the cheaper ones. You know who will be great? The marionettes. Okay, it's just showing them off just a little, so. Alright. And off they go. Yeah. And marionettes are immune to poison, if I'm not mistaken, so they have become an ideal solution to this situation. They'll make no mistake, the bat... yeah. Again, it is... yeah. Using the right ash for the right situation can trivialize an encounter. Out in the field, anyway. bosses will always remain a pain. Oh. And they'll of course seek out enemies all on their own. Alright. And when they start wandering back to you, typically that just means there's no immediate threats to you. But yeah. Oh, the right at, though it's now worth noting, they will pursue most enemies when they activate. And again, the marionette soldiers are one of the better ones because the marionette soldiers do tend to just stick. And they just sit back and launch arrows. That's all they do, which is great for pushing enemies to roll early so you can get counterattacks or basically just to focus on them instead of you. Yeah, land octopuses. Yep. Yeah. There is an item up on one of the top of the pillars, but I don't think it's really worth it. Yeah. I really have to wonder. The crabs and the land octopuses being in bizarre locations that make no sense. I really don't understand how they get around. Like, just to be clear, there's a giant one up here. Up here! And yeah, nope. Once again, we can just summon the marionettes to help trivialize this entire situation. Because the marionettes will just go to town. The baby octopuses don't really matter much. A pair of bows. Fire support. It may not be artillery, but it sure as hell works. Alright. Nice. So, as I said, it's interesting to me that and now look at this one, is able to even fight like one of the miners or the soldiers using glintstone scraps. Which means it's intelligent enough to use tools. Yep. Oh, wow. Even the Rancor. So yeah, no, these things are... Okay, so these are obviously transformed. I truly want to believe, based on the, Yeah, brilliant. Based on the patterns of the other bats, that these are transformed followers of... Oh, yeah. These are transformed followers of the Frenzied Flame. Yeah. There we go. Yep. Come on. There we go. Yeah, I truly believe these are transformed followers of the Frenzied Flame. And yeah, there's a giant... How? Okay. The land octopuses. How did one get the whole way up here? They're not built for climbing. So that thing had to have fallen. Oh crap, are they just... Oh, good gods, don't tell me the land octopuses were also part of... No, because this... Well, there's no part of the... I was gonna say, the ruins that fell from Azul. Falula Azul, the Abyss City. That's of the former Dragon Empire. Huh. Actually, hang on. The jewels on their headdress looks like a red and a opal. Huh. Yeah. So, either that or something like obsidian, perhaps? So actually, are these followers... Huh. So then would they be followers of the Lomide Queen, perhaps? And that's the difference? One has to wonder. Only I had a precious item. Yep, I'm out of blue, so gotta do this in melee. Nice. Alright. Alright. The little ones. There we go. Yep. Again, biggest thing to remember, you can break the tentacles. Oh, wow, this thing... Oh, you take frost damage like no... Oh, wow, I didn't realize these things were that weak to frost. Holy crap. Did not know those things were that weak to frost. Okay. I've really got to start using that more. Serpent God's Curved Sword. Where is it? Where? There it is. Curved sword fashioned after the image of an ancient serpent deity, and tool of the forgotten religion practiced on Mount Gelmir. Formerly used to offer up sacrifice, this sword restores HP upon slaying an enemy. Has the spinning slash because it's made for more dexterous builds. However, restores HP upon kill. So it's the forgotten religion because Rykard took over and imposed basically the heresy of his anti-Golden Order. And that became the official religion of the Snakes, which we'll get to pretty soon. makes sense for there. But yeah, with this we've actually reached the top now of this area. Did not know the octopuses were that weak to frost damage. Wow. Definitely going to be keeping that up, because they pretty much have no frost resistance. Okay, so we'll activate this. And as you can tell from the golden glow, yep, it's boss time. Meant to check how much. Okay, about 2 grand. So, I think we pop one of these. And one of these. There we go. So, we'll level up. I suppose getting us up to 30 intelligence won't be bad, with everything going on. Alright, folks. Oh, and we do get some help. The Blackguard, who we met, and Great Horned Tragoth. And might as well even get the Blackguard to help us out. Get to see how much he helps. Great Horned Tragoth. Casual greeting. Hey. So he's neat. So basically the idea is, with the cooperation, is everyone benefits. And he relies on a unique kind of fist weapon that has like a cannonball shape. Alright. And, of course, why not? We'll even add the marionettes. So, what's the boss at the top of the ruins? What kind of giant bat, maybe? After what we've seen? Obviously, that'd be the most expected. Nah, this is a Souls game. Yep. Magma Worm Makar. Yeah. Oh, you were expecting something thematic? Yeah. As you can see, the marionettes aren't too great with this. This boss doesn't really care about just chip damage, so... Alright. Oh, yep, there goes some fire breath. Let's see how hard this is. Only 275, so magic is not the way to go on him. Basically, this boss's area denial is his biggest thing. He wants to pin you in a corner and beat you senseless. Oh. Seems to be having some trouble thinking. Okay. But yeah. Magma Worm. It's not a dragon, it's a worm. Similar terms, seemingly, but and they can be used interchangeably at times. Hey, PP boys. Yeah. Alright, gonna get the hell out of the way out of that. Yeah. I think more specifically what makes a worm versus an actual dragon, at least in terms of the Souls games, is going to be largely the presence of wings. Ow. And gonna get the hell out of that. Okay. Just level. The big. About 50 something at this point. There we go. Managed to stun him. Come on. Got it. Nice. Alright. But yeah, again, Makar is not a boss that's going to care much. Even a lesser dragon still has plenty of damage resist. Yeah. Here he comes, the overhand slam, which does leave him fairly open. And look at that, we all managed to survive. Magma Worm's Scale Sword, and another Dragon Heart. Scale Sword, where is it? There it is. Curved greatsword wielded by magma worms. The shape resembles a dragon's jaw and is covered in hard scales. It's said these land-bound dragons were once human heroes who partook in dragon communion, a grave transgression for which they were cursed to crawl upon their bellies, shadows of their former selves. As a worm, yeah. So a worm is a human transformed into a dragon-like shape after consuming the hearts of actual dragons. We see in later games that the transmogrification into a dragon is not completely possible, but is at least similar. Alright, and again, another level up. Oh, just literally just short. Alright. So yeah, 30 intelligence is good for now. I think we'll move endurance up next. No, endurance has been fairly fine, honestly. So probably some more dex. No, it's my second playthrough. And I'm doing a bit of a lore-focused challenge to effectively not kill any of the major bosses and seeing how far I can get before I have to. Plus, it lets all the secondary characters get more of their arcs. So at this point, I have gotten through all of Limgrave, and we're just finished. This is actually the last of Liurnia of the Lakes, because we've now conquered both sides to bring us both ways. 2 of the 3 ways to Atlas Plateau. Alright. So that is the back entrance, the Coward's Way as they called it. Now we still need to get the second piece we need for the Grand Lift of Dectus, which means we can't push it off anymore. We need to go to Caelid. Caelid is one of the most No, so we've reached Atlas Plateau in 2 different ways. We still need the third, and that requires us coming through Caelid. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is where things get rough. Far and away, in my experience, Caelid is a far greater challenge than Liurnia or anything else. It's also one of the reasons I wanted to go as far as Liurnia as I could, since I can't really get good fire damage this early, but what I can get is frost. And being able to inflict frost can go quite a long way. Shack of the Rock. Nope, Nope, PP boys, we just started Caelid proper. I walked to the edge when we were first doing Limgrave, and did the basic exploration, just to get the first point. But now we'll be starting to figure out what the story of Caelid is. Yeah. Yeah. Again, I don't have fire. Fire would be the most effective in this place. But at least frost works out. Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna go... Yep. Yeah, you'll notice that the enemies in this area don't really flinch. At least those rotted out kinds don't. 'Cause, oi. But, as you can see, at one point in the past, Caelid was a thriving area. And then something happened. Though, what made Caelid unique, much like Liurnia, were these giant skeletons. The remains of these titanic creatures were scattered all along Caelid, and they were studied, and they were learned from. Because something that big, those growths on top of it are just a more recent effect. Earth that Caelid rests upon, and Celia the town of sorcery. The end is nigh for us all. It could be. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, this area is just rotted, destroyed, and desolate. Yeah. And yeah, like I said, this is where golden runes. Yeah, and to explain how bad this area gets, if you follow the main road, you'll get introduced to the first major obstacle. A horde of rotted out zombies. So those guys that do so much damage to me, here's a whole horde of them. I think there's around 20 or so. Which is why you have Glintstone Arc. Just trying to line up good shots. Yeah. Nice. Because this is the overworld, and in the overworld, remember, when you finish off a large group... Alright. I'll see you in a bit. When you finish off a large group, your resources get replenished, so... feel free to always be -1 shot of each. Because if you clear out a group, well, you get some more back. Now, Caelid is probably one of the roughest areas. I've said this time and time again, but there's a reason for it. Got it. Whirl o' Flame. Another incantation, unfortunately one we can't wield. just to give you an idea of how rough this area is, this is a common enemy, and they took 2 of Loretta's great bow. Okay? They took 2 of them. It's one of the reasons this area gets so rough. And I think we'll go back, yeah, to Engball. He's just useful for this. Because, here we go. Look, there's even a statue of Marika. That's how rough this area is. Now, as far as what we're actually seeing here... Wow. Yeah. Fire does the best damage, frost helps immensely. But what we're seeing here are... These are Knights of the Cuckoo, actually, if I'm not mistaken. Oh no, wait, these are the Caelid Knights, okay. So this is a Caelid military camp that got overrun by... Well... Now it's scavengers. Now it's just all the dogs and such that are just feeding off the corpses that remain. But... Obviously, at one point, there was a big battle here. Yep. Yep. Ow. By the way, these big birds suck. Yeah. Yeah. Ow. And yes, they have a beak with teeth. As disturbing as that is. Yep. Okay. Ow. We'll just have this. Yep. There we go. Yeah, these birds are like half the reason you get Engball here, because they suck. Alright. And what's the treasure of this particular... that they were hiding? A great sword. Well, for all you strength builders, here it is. Let's see. A coarse iron lump of an ultra great sword. For all of us Berserk fans, we know. Though handling it likely requires the wielder to have surpassed the realm of merely human, it is precisely for this reason that the weapon is used to slaughter even inhuman foes. Which is why it's here. Simply put, it was being transported for those that are strong enough to use it. Unfortunately, well, it never made it to the hands that would have used it best. Another rune arc. All relatively useful equipment for demigods. Explosive bolts. It's an explosive clump strapped to an arrow. It's kind of... It ain't much, but it does its job, I'll say that. But yeah. Alright. Do we need to go after this dog? Not really. So I think we'll leave him be. But yeah, this is the opening act, so to speak. The first thing you come across in Caelid is a destroyed town covered in corpses and a caravan that's been destroyed. It was intended with weapons for one place or another. Just to give you an idea how rough. And that headbutt you're gonna get sick of. There we go. Boy. Yeah, folks. Caelid is a step above everywhere else that you're going to encounter at this point, early on in the game. Caelid is the point where they kind of kick you in the nuts and go, alright, you ready for the real thing? Alright, for now though, what we're looking for is down there. The map. So we'll just follow the main road. I mean, how bad could that possibly be, right? Oh boy. The Calum ruins. So the town of Calum. Yep. Yeah, that burning skeleton did just stand up. And yes, it did just take a full Loretta's Great Bow. Again, this area just ends up sucking so much. And yes, I could just ride through it, but that wouldn't give you guys the full experience of understanding the threats that are here. And there's plenty of summoning... there's plenty of smoldering butterflies. Well, at least all that fire serves a purpose, right? By the way, yes. These guys, the reason they have so much HP is because they're suicide bombers. So they can survive killing each other. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. It's a race against time, basically. You either let him go... But yeah. See how that can be kind of rough? Yeah, this game is very well designed. Nope. You get plenty of time to get out of the way, though. And you're like, oh, and I know your thinking now is, oh, it's just suicide bombers, so long as I keep the distance, I should be perfectly fine. These things aren't that dangerous. Do you notice the green jade head in the background? Yeah. Anyone who's telling you, yeah, it's not that bad. Yeah. If I had to guess, there's a number of people who have had someone walk them through the area. Because that's what I hear all the time is, it's not actually that bad. Yes. Yeah, yes, it is. Got him. Yeah, and that's great, but that still doesn't kill it. Let that sink in. I got a back attack and I didn't kill it in one shot. Something's burning. Slowly killing itself. Which suits me just fine. I'm gonna let it go. And yeah, again, all these jade heads, this entire area. The reason the skeletons are on fire and all, because they're... is because in Caelid, the fire monks were the answer. Burn it all. Destroy it all. They basically got saddled with cleanup. Now what's interesting is these guys dropping melted mushrooms, which are basically oil. So naturally they're being burned, and you manage to get a glob of the oil that's being used to burn them. It works, I suppose. But yeah, the problem is even burning didn't stop these things. They just kept going. The scarlet rot doesn't just destroy you, it makes you suffer. Which is the true malicious cruelty of it all. This whole area is a result of the scarlet rot going wild. Whew. And yeah, this is the perfect area to come in. If you need smoldering butterflies to make fire bombs, Caelid is the place to come to. Assuming you can make it and survive here long enough to get it. So yeah, there's one. Why do I remember there being two? Maybe that one I killed over here? For some reason I remember there being two. And yeah, no matter how much you want to, you can't sneak to that basement without triggering him. So, best thing I can suggest... Yep, he's easy. Yep. Oh, come! I was out of the... Annoying. I did all that work to try and clean up the area, too. Alright. See if we can't sneak and get a little closer. Yeah, because this one... Yeah, because those guys are going to start getting up there. Yeah. Alright. Got it. Yep. There we go. Whew. Got there. Let's see. Okay, well, no. Of course. Ow! Ow. Yeah. Wow. Thank you for putting in work. I gotta stop on... But yeah. melted mushrooms. Normally these... Another point is the melted mushrooms typically only grow underground, if I'm not mistaken. Oh. Alright, so the head's... God damn it. Nope. Okay. Of course the giant head tracks onto me. Of course. Yep. Oh, that's a wall he can't break through. Well, that's good to know. Nice. Whirling fire dance! Whee! Pretty head spins! Oh, yeah. Yep. Alright. Nope. Ugh. Yep. Okay. Got it. Yep. Alright. There we go. Yeah, no matter how many times you do it, just dealing with those damn heads is never fun. Alright. Down we go. Let there be something incredible. Try horseback battle. Underground, right. Be wary of a pair. Yeah. So, it's another optional boss. Let's see, how we looking? Couldn't summon Engball for it. And we do have 12,000. So, you know what? We'll use one up. You'll use up one of the sticks. What the hell? We got this far. We might as well see what it is. Okay. Alright, Engball. How bad is this? Oh, it's just a pair of pumpkin heads. Bad pumpkin. Okay. This isn't actually that bad. Hammer and flail. Not bad at all. 2-on-1 is suck. Though the hammer one is honestly the lesser of the two dangers. Hey, boys. Alright. Note that he is slowed because of... Yep. Because of the frost. Okay. Yep. Honestly, I love that we have just enough stamina to be able to really hold our own. Unless you're doing heavy armor, there isn't a real need to pour endlessly into stamina in this game, I find. Unlike the other games, where stamina is never large enough. Ow. Yep. That's what I knew was going to happen. Yeah, no, but 2-on-1 it sucks. Because their attacks are just off enough that they'll be able to get you, so... Alright. So from there, pop some of these big ones just to get a level. What was 18,770, okay. Should just need these. Yep. And off we go. So we have 30 intelligence, that's good for right now. like I said, we're pretty good on stamina, if I'm perfectly honest. So it's just some more HP and dex, really. Look, I'm sorry, but unless you... as far as I'm concerned, you cannot have enough HP in this game. That doesn't exist. Everything will do chip damage in spades in this game. Alright. And we'll head off to the... yeah, no, Engvall still holds up. Alright. Yeah. So ideally in this particular situation... Yep. I think what we'll aim to do is just pour on the damage. Yeah. If we can get rid of the flail, the other one's not as bad. Alright. Yep. So we'll do it this way. Yep. Yeah. Yep. Yep, got me good. Because I went for the dagger instead of the heal like I meant to. It's basically just close quarters as being a pain. Okay. Still, we got the idea behind the Calum ruins, and we'll come back to it. So effectively, this is the monks cleaning up an entire village being scarlet rotted, because that's the affliction of this entire area, is the scarlet rot. So for now, we're just gonna run through. Don't really have any need to engage this stuff at the moment. Just gonna follow the way around back to the road. To find a palm reader crone, a finger reader crone rather. And let's see what she has to say for us.
You, please, I can read them. Your fingers, please, your fingers.
All right.
Oh, bless you. Are you one for festivals or flowers? To the south, a grand festival to make the stars turn. To the east, the heart and bud of a flower to be. But dare you enter into the heart of the scarlet rot?
Yeah. So, to the south, a festival, and to the east, a flower yet to be. But to the east, the heart of the scarlet rot. Well, so point blank, what we're seeing is the after effect of the opening cutscene. The blooming of a flower. The flower specifically this time was the bloom of scarlet rot that Melania carries. Remember, Torrent is immune to status effects. You aren't. So this swamp will constantly infect you with scarlet rot, which is a very potent poison. And a very unique one. Literally, it's unique to this game, and is actually very story focused. Because if you were to describe Caelid right now, a phrase that might come to mind is otherworldly, as in literally not of this world. What Caelid looks like right now, well, it doesn't look like anything that belongs in any normal Earth-like fantasy world. And that might just be the truth. No? Just noticed the golden glow out of the corner of my eye. And the sign of a battle. What was here? The Battle of Ionia. Radahn and Melania locked in stalemate. Then the scarlet rot blooms. So what we saw in the opening cutscene, Melania, pushed to her limits by fighting Radahn, unleashes this scarlet rot and destroys this entire region.
Ah, welcome, dear customer. Yes, right this way. Right this way.
Sound like you're leading me into a trap, my friend. Should I be wary?
Welcome, valued customer. Come, trade in our wandering emporium. Please, buy something. I'm hungry. I've been hungry so long.
Well, let's see. Doesn't have much, actually, for once. Has poison. Lots of poison. Aeonian butterfly. A butterfly with withered scarlet wings found in the swamp of Aeonia. Material used for crafting items. According to myth, these butterflies were once the wings of the goddess of rot herself. Oh. I feel bad if we don't buy anything from him, so we'll sell these and buy. Even some basic clumps of poison. Build up poison. No, just some basic arrows. I'll eventually get around to using a bow, because they're handy. So having some extra arrows doesn't hurt. Alright. So, yeah. Note he doesn't have much. There's not much here to scavenge. The simple truth is, the scarlet rot is dug deep into this land. And that's where that fight actually took place. Where the scarlet rot bloomed. Here in the east of, like the finger reader said, to the east, the heart of the scarlet rot. That's where the fight took place. What's interesting about it is the positioning. This fight took place on the plain of Aeonia. Over there is a town called Celia, one of the major focuses of magic, a place of study for it. Now, what makes that interesting is where they engaged. Melania came here from the west. So, from what we can tell, Melania came here from somewhere in Liurnia, probably just passed through, defeated Godric, and then moved east, and kept going east until she met Radahn here, around here. So, the camp we came through when we first got up here, the ambushed units right before we reached the Caelem ruins, and here across the smoldering well, she advanced until Radahn said stop, outside the town of Celia. So one could reasonably say it was Radahn's loyalty to Celia, this is where he learned magic, where he went, this is my territory, leave. And Melania refused, the two fought, and what we see here is the end result. The simple truth that, yeah, there was no victor in this fight. People will always bicker and say, well, this person won the fight because of X, Y, Z, but the simple truth is, nobody won. We'll see what happened to General Radahn, but it's not pretty. Yeah, nope. Like, people will argue who won or what happened. No, nobody won. Melania was broken by this fight. Melania will return to the Hailing Tree, broken and exhausted. And Radahn will be forever affected by the Scarlet Rot. Let me see it, if only one last time. Your splendid blade dancing amongst the Scarlet Rot. Yeah, so this guy was fortunate, or unfortunate enough, to see Melania fight. And Melania is a hell of a fighter. The Aeonian Swamp. Oh, great. That means crap, somebody's coming. Get out of Scarlet Rock, get out, get out, get out, get out, get out, get out, get out. Okay. Invaded by Millicent. Yeah. Okay, Millicent's one of the faster people. Yeah. Okay. Ow. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Oh, you didn't think this was going to be I went to Caelid third for a reason, folks. This is you're kidding me, right? If you think this is rough. By the way, that technique she's using, learn to dodge it. This is your easy practice round, if anything. My suggestion is practice with it. Practice with Millicent, because you're going to need to know how to deal with that. And by the way, no, yes, the squirts are doing the same status effect as the rest of the area, Scarlet Rot. So don't be surprised. Though actually, come to think of it, if we believe Dark Souls 3, squirts survive. Oh. Is that actual enemy? Yeah, no, that's... Yeah. Well, we know that squirts survive because there's a type of tree that they start to look like trees. Alright. But yeah. So, the long and short of the story of... This is what we're seeing is the power of whatever that brings the Scarlet Rot. Infesting and controlling creatures of this world. Got you. Let's get it. Sorry about that, folks. Don't know why I've got some sneeze heavy today. Ugh. Okay. There we go. Because speaking of things that are otherworldly, these creatures, the pests, note they have a bug-like head, but then and body and carapace, but then their hands are distinctly human. 4 fingers and a thumb, with a larger prominent arm. They're like a mix of a bug and a human. And again, this is probably something native to whatever the otherworldly force. Yeah. Alright. Nope. This otherworldly force that came... There we go. This otherworldly force that Scarlet Rot embodies. Because from it, strangely enough, it's not just destroying life, it's overriding it. Creating a new kind. Huh. Life born from the death of other life. And changed into and being overwritten. Perhaps a sort of forced evolution? That's an idea, actually. Okay, because long story short, pulling back the curtain a bit, on my personal theory, this, the Scarlet Rot, I believe that each of the children of Marika/Radahn are basically given a rune off the Elden Ring. Which then begs the question, oh, by the way, no, that's a dragon. I will not be engaging him. He does nothing but cover the area in Scarlet Rot and is a miserable fight. So yeah, decaying. Nope, not fighting him. And I'm gone. But anyway, I believe that each of the children were given a rune, which is the cause of their curses / bonuses, their strengths. And we found the map of Caelid. So we now have the eastern part. And there's a big fortress. There's a big fortress for the festival. And then to the east, there's some more. There's another area. And another merchant. See if this guy's got anything.
Buying or selling?
Buying? Potentially? Nomadic. Oh. What's he got? Rot bone. Of course, all the rot stuff, so how you can make advantage of. Sturdy great helm made of iron. Though uncomfortably heavy and obstructs the vision of the wearer, it provides considerable damage negation. Kind of interesting that otherwise the other thing he has, by the way, flaming bolts, used by survivors of Radahn's army to stave off the Scarlet Rot. Yep. Like I said, fire works best here. Headband reserved for the Badlands bravest, proof that the wearer has slaughtered countless foes. Following the example of their chieftain, Horalu, the brave warriors of the Badlands shun excess adornment. They keep it simple and rely on their strength. About a certain advantageous use of gravity. Well, that could be... Who knows what that could be? Well, let's see what the advantage. Gravitational power that pulls can bring flying foes low. Well, that seems kind of common sense, but yeah. So using something like gravity well on a flying enemy might help us to our advantage. For example, some of the flying birds in this area might be a little vulnerable to it. And as we come around, you'll see that we've gotten closer to where this town on the other side. And we also see marionettes. Remember how I mentioned that Celia was a town of sorcery and magic? They were no slouches, even compared to the Carians. So it's clear that the marionettes are on patrol simply because. Oh yay. And a giant chucking pots at me. There's an old throwback. Yeah. But yeah. Oop. Celia Gateway. Stop by the shack. Now, an interesting point about this shack. It has a guard dog. The owner is capable of even taming something like this. Ow. He even made a collar for it. There we go. And yes, that was first a bleed and then a cross. Yeah, so if you can get a weapon that does 2, you can add a 3rd, and sometimes that can be hilarious results. And we meet Gowry from Gowry Shack.
Oh, a pleasure to see you. A pleasure indeed. I am Gowry, a great sage. In my day, anyway.
Oh,
I'd hoped to ask a favor when one of your ilk came along.
a
A
tarnish?
strapping young tarnished, able to cross the scarlet swamp of Aeonia.
Oh,
Don't fret, I'll provide fine recompense. Should you accept, I will teach you the secret of Celia, the town you see there.
hear the request.
Ah, then you are willing to lend a hand, are you? I need your help to heal a certain young girl. Her name is Millicent. You will find her beyond Celia, resting at the church atop the cliff, stricken by the rotting sickness. The rotting sickness. When the Erd tree flourished, even the demigods could not stave off its effects, despite their nigh godhood. But Millicent's suffering can be ameliorated. For this, you are to find a certain needle. Seek the deep scarlet swamp of Aeonia outside Celia's bounds. The needle, made from unalloyed gold, is lost somewhere there. First, you must... It's hidden, then I will... The secret.
So, I already know the secret, and we could easily bypass it because it's honestly relatively simple. It's mostly just a case of exploring thoroughly enough. It's one of those cases where your player character knows what to do even if you don't. It's really awkward like that sometimes. But regardless, like they said, this is Celia. And to get the official telling of how you're supposed to solve this, yeah, you would need to go out into the swamp and look for a needle. Needle in the haystack joke? A little too easy. But here we see more of the Academy's types here. Note that they do this teleporting trick, like we've seen from other places. Or at least just go partially invisible. And some of them do actually teleport. Though, as you might imagine, a town of sorcery has some advantages. There's going to be all kinds of secrets here to explore. Oh. I would say, as well as more automatons. And little by little. Oop. Oh. The red mane painting. Alright. Ow. Nice. There we go. Doesn't especially hurt, but it's... Yeah, their teleporting is just annoying. There he is. Toxic mushrooms. Well, if it were going to grow anywhere, this would be the place. Mushroom covered in toxic mold that grows in the rotten lands. Material used, a skilled hand can repurpose its toxic mold into an effective ward against scarlet rot. So that's interesting. So something toxic can kill the rot. Which actually does lend a point to the whole, what the Scarlet Rot is actually is a manifestation of not necessarily rot or decay, but that Melania's true rune is evolution or change. And that something toxic, which just kills all life, affects even her, even what she has. So if hers is change, maybe Michaela's would have been stability? Change, stability. Well, that would make sense for them being twins. Wow. You really put your whole back into that, didn't you, buddy? And poison. Toxins, poisons. This whole place is a cauldron for distasteful and unfortunate things, isn't it? Yeah. So Celia obviously worked alongside... Yeah, so Celia worked alongside the Academy. If not, was just a branch. Maybe it was like a branch thing? Where they worked together and were just... You worked in the actual academy, or you got sent out to Celia to do research. Maybe depending on your particular conspectus, or basically branch of the school. That would make sense. An aristocrat headband. Poor dog. Ow. Like it's blind, like the mushrooms have grown over its eyes. Let's take a look at that headband. Valuable headband featuring fine gold work. Travel attire worn by nobles in the capital. Abandoning their birthplace after the Shattering, these undead wanderers are the pitiful product of an unending life. Yeah. So, the gift of the Erd Tree, for those who aren't paying attention, is basically eternal life. Problem was, when everything, which was great in the times of plenty when the Erd Tree gave everyone what they needed. But then once things started to fall apart, well, eternal life isn't so great when life sucks. And a lot of these guys are just left behind. They've lost their minds, mostly. There's nothing left for them to really live for. They're just kind of forced to keep going. So they find things to do. They're checking runes, they're checking for options. They're looking and studying and researching, losing themselves bit by bit. In fact, we've seen it before where some of the enemies we fought, they're thankful we killed them. Not that it's a permanent death for them. Oh, sorry. Didn't mean to bump the mic. We've heard some enemies laugh as we kill them. It's a reprieve. It's an end to the daily monotony of just unending, nothing ending. The Scarlet Rotted ones just are physically broken but are not able to stop moving. Such was the blessing of the Erd Tree. Or perhaps such was the curse. After all, as we've said, and Bloodborne. Oh, wow! All right, I hear him. Luckily, yep, even if you can't see them, they still take damage. There we go. But yeah, so it makes sense that they've been blessing or cursed with immortality. They believed it was a blessing at the time. But as things steadily fell apart because of the bickering, the fighting, the backstabbing, the betrayals, well, it just didn't seem that worth it, did it? So one has to ask, was what they got really a blessing? More golden seeds? Now you'll note, there isn't as much glintstone here as there is in the Academy, so it makes sense that they are not as focused here. There's a different sort of magic in this place. Though we've seen nothing but Raya Lucaria's scribes, well, it stands to reason that that's because those scribes are probably more of the Immortal Nobles type. In other words, those aren't the people who lived in Celia. These are simply the scavengers who have come to take advantage. Also, for getting around here on the roofs, yeah, your best bet is just to use Torrent. Because there's a couple things you need to do. Or at least will want to. And actually that does... The marionettes are actually your hint of... This place has more to do. That the Academy people are here. Yeah, no, there's nothing left of those who lived here. Fortunate or unfortunate wise, that's just the simple truth. The original residents of Celia all died. So what we have left is those trying to learn their secrets. Cerulean Tear Scarab. Blue scarab worn directly on the head. These scarab rolls These scarabs roll clumps of cerulean tears during their labors. Slightly increases the recovery effects of the flask of cerulean tears, but increases damage taken. So, the green one makes spells cost less, the other one gives you back more when you use the cerulean tear. When you restore your FP. So, take your pick, whatever's more appropriate for your particular situation. Now, as far as this goes, the secret of the town of Celia is these bonfires up here. If you light their flames, a seal breaks. That's the secret. Again, it would be one thing if your character didn't know what to do and you just examined it instead. But since your character automatically knows what to do, it kind of takes away. Because I kind of ran into this my first time and going, oh, okay, I don't know why my character's doing this, but they are. So, it's just one of those things you have to wrap your head around of, okay, well, another seal broken. Alright. Stone sword key. Those always come in handy. Let's see. Okay, that one's just a windmill, so that one doesn't do anything. That's 1, 2... Alright, got the one over there. I think that might be it. Okay, I thought I jumped off to my death. And here we go. Okay. Yeah, no, their seals are broken all over. Now, something to notice from an architectural standpoint is the design of this place. You'll see it elsewhere, pretty far from here. And here, the Staff of Loss. There it is. Staff missing its glintstone. It is wielded by sorcerers who believe that discovery comes through acts of asceticism. The staff only distinguishes itself when casting invisibility sorceries, but that is reason enough for some to wield it. But what are invisibility sorceries? We've not encountered any of those. Well, Spelldrake Chalisman +1. So, good item to have when fighting sorcerers, so... Celia had some preparations in case they needed to fight. Night Comet. Alright. There we go. One of the night sorceries of Celia, Town of Sorcery, fires a semi-invisible magic comet. The sorcery can be cast repeatedly while in motion. Charging enhances the potency. The Celian sorcerers were assassins, and it is said they often hunted their fellows. Now, how true that is, and how much of that is just simple... How much of that would be simple propaganda is up in the air. But it is true that the Sellians were adept at a very different method of magic than Raya Lucaria. Raya Lucaria sought pure power, let's call it, by comparison. Whereas the Sellians prided themselves on being a little subtle and not relying on the power of glintstone. Ah, the imbued sword key. So that should be... We should be able to now be able to unlock every one of the 4 belfries. And I suppose it makes sense that it would be here, in a place that studied other types of magic. Oh! Huh. Yep. Okay. Yep. There we go. Good night. So, toxic mushrooms. And of course, when you light all of them, you get access to this over here. Which is a golden gate. Where we find the Nox Sorceress and this Nox Monk. Remember how I mentioned that the actual original inhabitants weren't to be found? This is why. These are the original inhabitants of Sellia. Yep. Alright. Ow. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Engball's hanging in there. Yep. Okay. Alright. Last bit of HP. 2-on-1 fight. Ooh, got the back. That helps. Yep. These are the last of the 2 originals. They managed to hold off a monk and a sorceress. The Raya Lucaria. And they were forced to watch as their town was plundered. And at the end, we get her flowing sword. A grim weapon wielded by swordsmen of the Eternal City. This shuttle has a blade as fine as a needle. Forged from the liquid metal of a silver tear, it is thoroughly tempered until hardened. Like a whip to perform sweeping slice over a wide area. And we do have the ability to wield it. And this treasure chest, the last treasure they were guarding, was Lucette's glintstone staff. So we have both Azure and Lusats. Enhances the power of all sorceries, but consume additional FP. But, of course, both of them require 52. So, nope. We're not smart enough to use them. Now, this is the important bit. Take a look up here. Aside from all the vines that are climbing all over it, like they climb all over everything from the Erd tree. More importantly, look at this giant seat. And we just fought people from Nox. Celia was a city of the Nox. And Raya Lucaria is just here to loot whatever they can of the secrets. I bring this up specifically because there is quite a bit to learn about the Nox. Alright. But before we go deal with that, I want to go... By the way, what time is it? It is 8:56, so yeah, I'm still good. So, what we will be doing is heading up this way. And we come across some undead. Fairly strong ones, too. Yeah. Like, these are no meager fools. They're more adept at combat. They're easily more adept compared to the lesser versions we've seen elsewhere in Liurnia and at least that big guy was. It's enough to make one wonder if perhaps there's a reason there. And even more of these skeletons. But these are more the lesser versions. The common mooks. Alright. And as we ride up, even more skeletons. More and more undead. Here we see another that is actually that ball we saw in Raya Lucaria was stolen from the Celians. That's why it seemed so out of place. It wasn't a Raya Lucario, because Raya Lucario only studies magic in one particular vein. They don't try to alter or change. Their focuses are on the skies, comets and such. Church of the Plague. And, as we were told by Gowry,
Who's there? Well, it matters not. If you are wise, you will leave immediately. My flesh writhes with scarlet rot. It is a curse, not to be meddled with by man.
indeed. And it is still a Church of the Plague. At least that's what it's called now. Obviously, it was a church to Marika at some point. Actually, unlike the other statues, this one has a more defined face. Yeah. Marika's face is more visible in this one because it's usually just hooded over. Huh. Isn't that interesting? Like I'm not imagining things, right? Like if we go to, I want to say, like, where was it? Yeah, Third Church of Marika. I don't remember her face being that visible. It might just be me. Okay, no, it's just me. I keep thinking that most of the statues have her face hooded, like like many of the paintings do. Okay. Still. I still hold that it very easily could be Marika on that image for the shadow of the Erd Tree DLC. Alright. But now, the last thing we want to do though, it's interesting that Millicent is both here, suffering in pain, due to the scarlet rot slowly devouring her, but she's also the one who fought us in the swamp, killing us with excessively powerful movements. Kind of an interesting contrast, wouldn't you say? Alright. And there's one of these statues, got you the catacomb. Excuse me. And, yeah. So, we'll head up north, because what we're after, finally, at the very end here, is actually smithing stuff. Is the final map of Celia, which is just along this road up here. Which, again, Celia was here studying the skulls of these giant titans, like the one we're walking on. I would guess it would make sense that that them understanding death would come naturally from that. And this is Grail's Dragon Marrow. And that is Grail over there. That is a giant, giant dragon who has been rendered incapable of movement and is just sort of just laying there. It also has a massive HP pool and is basically will summon endless reinforcement dragons to hurt you. But yeah. There, it's called a dragon barrow. You can guess what you can find here. Wrong, they have all the wrong number of limbs. They're all wyverns. But so we found the dragon barrow, and now we have a full map of Caelid. We can even see our way to the bestial sanctum. A divine tower. And so now we have a much clearer vision of the eastern side of the map. And there is the dragon barrow. This whole area is pretty much smeared with dragons completely. Nope. Oop. Yeah. Between the dragon barrow and Caelid. And up there is a tower. Yep. Like you can see there's another dragon just deceased and just laying around. Piled up the remaining obviously killed and just left to rot, which the Scarlet Rot was more than happy to take care of. And the big dog. And then up here at the very top is yet another shack. The isolated merchant shack. Yeah. Note that this guy just took a full tick of both frost and bleed and didn't even flinch. Alright. And at least they drop beast blood for those beast lures. And this merchant.
Well, there's been an age since I've seen a customer. How can I help here at the end of the earth?
Dragon wound grease, which is always handy. Gravel stone. Small clump of sharp, pointed stones, material used for crafting items. Such compound stones, found in lands once beset by ancient dragons, are said to be the scales of those very beasts. So broken off scales. Empty jar. Ashes of war. Spiked cestus. A cestus with rivets placed by blood loss inducing spikes. First, fist weapon come in pairs, and two-handing the weapon will equip it in both hands. Let's see. Serpent arrows. In tandem with serpent bow, loyal minions of the formless serpents, their fangs are daubed with a deadly poison. Beast repellent torch. A torch which burns oil infused with a special incense. The aroma pacifies wild beasts. Torches such as these were used to keep unwelcome beasts away from treasure troves hidden in caves. Well, we can try it out. And the Land of Reeds. So, samurai armor. The Land of Reeds has long been locked in a miserable civil war, during which time it has remained alienated from the cultures of its neighbors. Little wonder that the entire nation has succumbed to blood-soaked madness, or so it is said. Now they're made from withered reeds from the warrior's birthplace. Perhaps its comforts extend to nostalgic thoughts of hope. About a gateway and a hidden cave. Well, that's the least we can do.
Have a safe.
Okay, a gateway. Fort Gale in Caelid holds a gateway that leads to Redmane Castle. There is a hidden cave in the town of Celia. Look beyond the graveyard at the precipice. So those are two very useful hints. First, let's head back to southern Aeonia Swamp Bank. Now, I'm just checking because I've not killed any of the major story people, so I'm just curious if it's still active. So we're heading to the south because there's a branch that half the time I swear I don't know what triggers it. Oh, one of the birds. And we'll just leave it alone. Golden seed. The bird isn't really worth it at this point. But I'm just looking to see if... Oh, a white one. Oh! Yep, that hurt. Ooh. Big thing about the wolves. Yeah, they can hurt each other. That's the upside. So basically you want to bait them into hurting each other. Oi. Yeah. Note that their eyes are red. Yeah, no, they're far more aggressive. And this is what I wanted to see. Yep. Okay, this is still good. Because we get to see the knights take on how they're holding this against this. Give you an idea. Like, points for, you know, sticking to your job in the face of insurmountable odds. These knights, these soldiers, are doing everything in their power to fend off these beasts. If nothing else, you have to respect that. And I mean, they've been fighting them well enough to have a pit of corpses they have to burn. And nope. Nope, it's all gone. Okay, this bridge, I don't know what you have to kill, or maybe it's the first time you reach Atlas Plateau. I don't know. But this bridge is supposed to be covered in covering fire, like bolts, ballistas, the whole 9 yards. But after a certain point, it stops. These guys all pack it up and go because the festival. It's time for the festival. Yeah. So, damn, I didn't get to show off the impossible bridge. Oh well. I don't know what causes it to switch over. Probably the first time you go to Atlas Plateau. But yeah. Because this whole thing is supposed to be just covered. And unfortunately, no, I didn't get to show it off. Which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. But as you can see, the soldiers are still holding the line against the beasts. And again, note that they have the red-eye version, so some of them are frenzied, making them even more dangerous. Yeah. Yeah. That red eye means they're going to be more aggressive. Alright. Ow. Yeah. It's that bad. Yeah, it is just that bad. It really is. Yeah. I'm just gonna get out of here, but it's just worth noting. Ooh, fan daggers. But yeah, it's just worth noting just how rough this gets. And yeah, we'll get to fully exploring Caelid another time. Because, honestly, there's somewhere else I want to go. I was just getting the map so to prep ourselves, because cleaning out Caelid is a headache and a half. Alright. Because where I want to go is down here, actually. The Siofra Riverbank. Just thinking, it's there. Where else? To get from there. Because there is, if I'm not mistaken. Alright. River well depths. Because we'll head here first. Haven't been here in quite some time. The land of the Claymen. Before, we couldn't do much here. The Claymen were simply not too tough, but just they didn't take any damage, so there wasn't much we could really do. But now, we're quite a bit stronger than we were. And we're allowed to call help here, which means there's probably something here. An old campsite. Alright. And again, melted mushrooms. They're native to down here. To the underground, to the eternal cities as they're known. Alright. Dew-kissed herbas. They come in plentiful and, well, can't really complain. Alright, so let's see about these now. Nope, still don't do much. Oh, got me. Oh, wow. Ooh. Well, first time I've ever actually been caught by that, so it's just about as brutal as you think. Alright. Alright. So they don't freeze, and they don't... Not bad. So it takes a full Loretta to make them flinch. Not horrible. Yeah, still 102. How about the gravity did 120. Yep. Hey, got it. Yeah, no. Not much you can say about it. So, much like the ancient ruins we saw all the way back in Liurnia, where they were these statues, where the right half was tentacles. And looking at the symbology, the reverence of beasts. There we go. Yeah. So we know these guys don't freeze, they don't bleed, unsurprisingly. So one has to wonder if maybe something like scarlet rot, I doubt poison. Still. We could just teleport to where we want to go, but I figure a refresher on the underground, where these claymen have been living, and their oracles and their spell says the bubbles they cast is looking for oracles. So looking for something of the oracles of the past, of the future. One would assume the future, but things can be lost in the past as well. Also, note, if I can get a good look, yep, just crabs eating away at whatever they can get their claws into. But these are living crabs too. There are actually undead crabs in this game. They're not as common, but they do exist. Alright. So now, I think we're strong enough to be able to do some of the quest here. Which is largely, like the town of Celia, light the fires. So like we lit the fire on this statue over here, on this obelisk. And it's what, 19? So close. How close? Yeah, 425. Okay. So I was hoping to just get a... But yeah. Alright, dear. This whole place, this whole nature preserve, exists as a sort of this is one of the Nox's eternal cities, guarded by these spirit guardians. So we see that up on the surface these guys still exist physically, but down here they're typically just ghosts or phantom remembrances of what they are. Or maybe they willingly became ashes Armorer's Cookbook, to guard this place forever, much like the Golden Headless style. And the Armorer's Cookbook number 6, Preserving Boluses, which are the ones that, counter build-up Scarlet Rot. So, potentially... Cool. Okay, so if we take it from that, the Scarlet Rot is the evolution or change of the physical body. Then the Preserving Boluses counter it by forcing you to retain your current self. And they're made sacramental buds and crystal cave moss and dew-kissed herbs. Sacramental buds. An immature bud containing fresh blood. Material used for crafting and believed to originate long ago from a strain of buds cultivated with youthful sacramental blood. Which would make sense. So stability counters frozen into a crystal before it can mature, widely found in cold regions. So staunching is the land octopus. The crystal cave moths. That do anything particular. So it's the power of the crystals as well as... Interesting. It's an idea, at least. But then, okay. I don't have what I need to make the boluses against sleep, which theoretically would be people tied to Michaela. Oh. But yeah, these guys are all seeking to... Yep. That's not bad. Nice. And the one with the staff. Yeah, we're strong enough to be able to hold our own down here. So. So we're getting an idea. So this natural order is actually what counters Scarlet Rot. Which is seeking to change and alter living things into a form that it wants. Just Arteria leaf. Behold shield. Inverted Hawk Heather Shield. Inverted would typically mean insulting. Or it's... Let's see. Medium-sized metal shield, easier to handle than the kite shield. The inverted hawk is the emblem of the company of slaves ordered to explore the Eternal City. Okay, so it is just an emblem. So rather than soaring the sky, they've been forced to plunge underground. Makes sense. Has slightly better magic and holy defense. 6 of one, half a dozen the other. Neither one is especially worthwhile. Either way. So it makes sense. They're soaring underground, I guess. So it's less about being insulting and more seeking to delve deeper than anyone else. Suppose that's one way interpretation. Alright. Now that we've met Ronnie, also, notice that we lit one of these braziers, and one of these is lit. So this is your list. This is how you know there are 8 pillars scattered throughout this entire map. And your job is to find all 8 of them and activate them. Now, as I say, is there a reason to go down there? Yeah, there's an item. Might as well get it out the way. Alright. A horn bow. Let's see. Longbow made from an animal horn, wielded by the master hunters of the ancestral followers. Imbues arrows with magic damage, reveals its true worth when used with magic-infused arrows. So we have the stats to use it, and it's not horrible. I mean, it's 104 off its own. Let's see, will that put me at heavy load? Nope, still leaves me at medium, so why not? So, arrows, dwelling arrows. So overall, what does that put us at? 288 and 220. Not bad, especially considering that bow's unupgraded. Yeah. You may see a focus on range, but that's because, well, range never goes wrong for you. Oop. Alright. Oop. Ow. Yep, got it. Got myself in trouble. Okay. Keep doing it. Gotta get off the... There we go. And now that we've baited them all in too. Alright, and now that I've baited you all in too. Melee, I'm not going to engage. Beautiful. Exactly. Once you have them in melee, why engage? If they're just going to keep chasing me around like idiots, well, that makes life easy. But yeah, I think that's a good setup for weapons. Doesn't put me at medium, and any extra weight I gain, extra weight capacity I gain, I can put towards slightly heavier medium armor. And hello, my friend.
Ah. Good to see you. Apologies, mate. But I don't have much to report.
Oh?
I can see bloody Nokron right above me. But I'm absolutely stumped. I've tried all the gateways, to no avail. Perhaps it's time to ask Celibus. And recall that spiteful little rat acting like he knew something. Let's give him a squeeze. Show him just how sharp my teeth are. I jest. Besides, leave this place to me. If either of us learns anything...
Alright. So yeah, what he's talking about is that city up there. That's Nokron, the Eternal City. Yeah, no, there's no way... There's no way from this end to reach Nokron. I'll tell you that right now. But there's still plenty to explore here. After all, this place is a bit unique in that it's a living artifact of history. Kind of a lost Jurassic world, if you will. Not Jurassic level ancient, but for the sake of this game's story, it's very ancient. Alright. So we're gonna head back. Nope. And one of the crabs. Yep. Ow. Damn. Even the crabs are weak to ice that much, huh? Well, good to know. Surprising amount of things are. Alright. So, we can see these pillars will lead you to yet another place where say, they are basically... Okay. Where there's another pillar to be activated. But... just want to be careful and try and engage as few enemies as possible. After all, I'm willing to bet anyone could take this game one if every enemy attacked you one at a time. Yep. Bravo. You know what? Being able to tank a hit like that using just your bare arm, that is respectable on many levels. To just shank it on the arm and go, screw it, I can power through. Alright, lots of boars. Yep. Nice. Brought low. Lots of boars. And another flame lit. And yes, I could go after all the boars, but not necessarily immediate. And just to confirm, if you look over to our right there, yeah, that's the second of the 8. So, we just gotta keep looking around. Ow. That's funny. He bull charged me, like the Minotaur he likes to protect. Nice. Good night. You got a good hit on me, I'll give you that. And the blood there is kind of your warning. Golden rune. So, these creatures willingly became these ghosts. They became the ashes that continue to live to watch over this place. To watch over the animals and the natural order here. To preserve everything they could. What makes that interesting is, you know, this is sharing an area with Nokron, a much more advanced city. So one would have to then ask, are these people also Nox? And it was simply a division of their particular religious beliefs. Which is what I personally actually do believe. That the Nox such as they were was actually a diverse group, some being more nature worshippers, others while others are more stringent alchemists. Creators of unique items using powerful arcane secrets that they drew from studying the world around them. At least that's the way I see it. Because oftentimes, any group that is seemingly a singular identifying face, you could say, oop, you know, any particular. Nox is the country they live in. Oh, wow. Oof. Oof. Wow. I just got nailed. Wow. I have not been nailed like that in quite a while. Oh my. But anyway, like I was saying, Nox is the country they live in. Nokron is the city. Noxtella is a city. Altogether, they are the Nox. Oh. So it would make sense that these particular Nox simply have a different faith than the other ones we've seen up to this point. Probably different than the monk and the swordstress we saw. Yep. Nope. Alright. Oh, yeah. There it goes. Yeah. Yep. Ooh. Oh yeah, enough of any enemy can be a threat, so. Strip of white flesh. Though, the fact that they drive a strip of white flesh. Red flesh comes from more mammalian creatures, the white flesh comes from others. So. Oh. I was gonna say, that one leapt in, so I thought maybe it'd seen me. There we go. Alright. Yeah. I believe, yeah, nascent butterflies are the ones you find down here. Not surprising, the Eternal City. Eternal City. So then it would be... Okay, that would make sense then. This is the Eternal City. This is where the counter to evolution for Melania would also be representative of Michaela, which makes sense. Evolution and stability. Okay, let's see how good they are here. Considering that's a basic bow, not bad. Okay. And we're good. And let's see. Ow. Got it. Yeah, there we go. Miranda powder, poison bloom, yep. And uniquely, you can hear music. We'll get to the source of that music soon. That's another land octopus. And in here, nothing. Okay. That's where we need to go. Is up here. Because this will lead us up and around. Nice. Hmm? Oh, it's one of the crabs. Like, what's that what's that making that shake? And that's just the crab. Ooh, jawbone axe. Get to show this off. Axe made from an herbivore's skull. Weapon of the ancestral followers who disdain metal. This axe is more of a bludgeon and forgoes a bladed edge, instead using the beast's molar teeth to buffet foes, dealing strike damage. We'd need to be a little stronger, but it is quite heavy. So it is worth noting, this whole area is a living preserve of life. With so much of the surface focused on death and the passing of life, this acting as a preserve speaks volumes. Not only of the morals or the focus of the Nox, excuse me, but also of the fact that this place was preserved as well and wasn't just raided. It's easy enough to get down here, but it's interesting that it was overlooked by so many of the forces. Give me a second, I need a drink. Alright. Better. And down here we find another merchant. Playing a song. Doesn't it remind you almost of a lullaby? Something played for someone to send them off to sleep. And note that every one of the merchants has one of these, almost as if it's necessary for them.
Oh, a customer.
Down here, he sells, of course, the nascent butterflies. Larval tear. Material needed by Renala to grant rebirth. So, first off, take a look at it. It looks larval. It looks like a fetus. An early stage pre-life development. Core of a creature of mimicry known as a silver tear. As much substance as it is living organism. Material required by the amber egg cradled by Renala, queen of the full moon, to birth people anew. Being born anew allows the reallocation of attributes boosted by leveling up. So it allows us to respend and reset ourselves at the cost of one of these. So this will let us get the oil pots, soap, and then dappled white and regular cured meat, as well as the shodel, which, not a bad weapon. He also even sells dwelling arrows. But mostly just want so I can pick up the dappled white and cured meat.
Goodbye till next time.
He's been down here alone for a very long time. You'll note that almost every merchant complains of being lonely, but they don't seek to be together either. This is so that if something happens, they do not get themselves killed. So, as far as the dappled meats go, temporarily boosts your focus, immunity, robustness, and and then you can just use either basically red or white meat to make it. Yep. So, this would help us, say, for example, head back to where the village, where that eye was, to it'll help us where like the eye is to basically bypass some of the issues we may have had. Nope, not there. And any more? Nope. Yeah, there's one there. But he's busy planting. So, yet another one we claim. Ah, there's one just over there as well. Crab just living its own life. And we've already done. Touch? I thought... Oh, we hadn't touched this one yet. Alright. So let's see. Okay, this one's a little tricky because those two lightning bolts. Because they're basically your trial for getting through it. Ow. Boy. Yep. Ow. Alright. The Great Horned Headband. not doing bad. Blythe's still here. Yep. I forget, how many is that? Take a quick look over towards the temple. Ah, and we find yet another. Nice. And there's another pet little pagoda there we gotta entertain. But now that we managed to sneak up on these guys, they call them the Master Hunters. Trust me, those arrows hurt like hell. Nice. Yep. And without the archers, though, this place becomes far more manageable. More arrows. Yeah, I heard it. One of the snipers knows where I am. There he is! Yeah. Look at the size of that frigging bolt and the frigging arrow in our back. Yeah. Yeah, it hurts. There's a reason that sucks. Yeah, that's why I've been so careful around these guys, because that sucks. There we go. Okay. That's a lesser archer. Cool. No, it's the real snipers. It's the sniper variants that are really dangerous. Because they can hit you real hard out of nowhere. And they have a much greater visual range than you're expecting. Alright. We'll just do Loretta's Grave, though. Might as well get rid of the one who does all the buffing. There we go. Now it's just those two. Alright. Yep. Nope. Nope. Not getting comboed like that. There we go. Nice. The goats just roll. I still don't have an explanation for it. It just is what they do. And here comes the snipe. Okay, no, you're a regular archer. Okay. Then I'm not worried. Okay. Yep. Nice. Alright. That's another pyre down. I think we're at 6. Look at all these animals piled up. Yeah, if you need thin beast bones, these are also a good place to do it, just so you can make your arrows quicker. Note though, it isn't a great way to farm runes. Nice. Yeah, we're pretty close to the point towards the back side of this area. Yep, got both of those already. And note, because this area is considered more an outdoor region, you do get resupply, which makes this a relatively easy trip. It's only when you're in major quote-unquote dungeon eras that they turn off the ability for killing a group you get some extra resources back. And that's to make you stress just how dangerous the area actually is. But we've gotten all the pyres up this way, so I think there should be one or two more. But I'm getting close on time. I might have to call it here. Let's see. I assume the stomping is a form of worship. And that the budding horns on these guys and the horns they wear that we take from them are effectively manifestations of the ancestor worship they follow. So there is still one more over there. So, and there's a bug. Let's try for it. Like I've said, these are usually traps, so we'll see what comes of it. Square off. Well, makes sense. This is the kind of place where you'd want it, where you would want squaring off. All right. Let's see. Yep. There we go. So getting rid of the rats. Okay, the thing to note is they were all facing the exact same location. They're all facing this upper area. As if there's something special there that makes that worthwhile. Well, I might have to call it here in a minute. looks like I'm gonna have to call it here soon. Yeah. Oh well. Okay. At the very least, I can just... Alright, so get this. Because somehow a golden seed got the whole way down here. I imagine it was brought. Like it wasn't... One of the ancestor worshippers brought it down here to be secured and safe. So worst case scenario, some version of the Erd Tree would survive. At least that seems the most plausible thing. In my mind, anyway. I wouldn't be surprised if it was someone like Miquella themselves. One of the demigods brought it down and gave it to them. And here we find... I believe there's just nothing else. Okay, nothing else here. This is just an underpassage. Okay. I was going to say, I was pretty sure there wasn't anything back this way, but... Though it is worth noting, this waterfall leads down further and deeper. Which begs the question. This is an underground city. Where's it getting all the water from like this? I mean, to feed a constant river? What is it, the amount of water? It's staggering. Just a thought, after all. Logistics don't really play into it, not this kind of game, but... Alright. And still doing that stomping dance. It must be some form of worship for the ancestors, one would imagine. And I believe this should be the last one. Power gathers somewhere in horned remains. Yep. So, we've now unlocked the boss battle for this area. But that's not the only thing. Though it's interesting that of all the other animals in this place look healthy, look well taken care of, with the exception of the rats. The rats are the only things that look decayed and broken. Even the crabs are doing well. Do we have enough? Yep, we have 2. Stone Sword Key was lost with use. So, we needed that to activate this elevator. Because this elevator leads somewhere different and makes this into the true path. Just takes a while to get there. Yep, it brings us out in Caelid. A part of Caelid we can't reach any other way. We jumped over this earlier, the path east of the Caelid, and right near the isolated merchant shack. Dropping straight down is not really tenable. You probably could glitch your way down, but this is typically just the easier way to do this. And we'll get into what's here next time, folks, because we're going to start looking at what starts to interlink. Because unfortunately, the story of Caelid is one of unfortunate repercussions of clashing. And simply put, what Melania's final choice is. But we'll deal with that all in the end. For now, we managed to be a little stronger. We've managed to unlock a whole new area. And I want to thank you all for joining me. I have been the Ephemeral One, and this is me back on my bullshit about the lore of Elden Ring and the Soul series in general. Just a final notation, if anyone's curious or has enjoyed themselves, please feel free to donate to the Patreon, to leave something in the Ko-fi. That's the only way I'll be taking donations, I believe, in moving forward. I checked, my rent is going up $90 this year. Oi. And so, any help is appreciated, but that's all it's going towards is rent, basically. Anyway, thank you all for joining me. I've been the Ephemeral One, and I'll see you next time on this, or maybe something else. Bye for now, folks. Bye for now.